Hey all, it's Jan of the Jan Files. Welcome to my channel. I hope you have subscribed. Um, I've already complained about the algorithms. I don't know, my views are so way down. So whatever help I would greatly appreciate. But let's go on because I'm going to talk about Epstein. And no, I will never go more than a couple of videos without talking about Epstein. Although I think almost everything I've spoken to in recent videos somehow involves a connection to Epstein. So what I want to talk about today is first Leon Black's testimony last on the June 26th, which was only 4 days ago. It seems like weeks actually. And I also wanted to talk about the lawsuit brought by Katie Phang, which doesn't seem to be getting the coverage it really should. She's no longer on MS Now, where she was a anchor at different points, and she's a legal expert because she herself is a lawyer. She's very smart, and I would suggest if you aren't following her, you should. And so let's start talking about Leon Black. Leon Black is a billionaire. He is the founder of Apollo Capital along with other guys. He's got more money than he'll ever know what to do with, and yet he supposedly paid to Epstein 100, and let me make sure, there's two different numbers, $158 million to give him financial and tax advice. Let's remember, Epstein might have been bright, but he was not an accountant. He didn't go to college. So that doesn't mean you can't be success and all that stuff. I'm not saying that. But this man paid him $158 million. If you ask Senator Whitehouse, he adds another $12 million to that, which has no answerable, what did they do with that money? Now, supposedly this $158 million, according to Black, was, as I said, for paying him to be a financial advisor, etc., which is ludicrous. This guy, founded Apollo Capital. He's no dope. He, could get all kinds of financial advice that wouldn't cost him $158 million. But let's go back and let's give a little background on Leon Black, because Leon Black is in the Epstein files. And it's not just his name. There are two descriptions. There are two women who accused him of violently raping them. One talks about, her name is, I think, Jane Doe 4. Oh, sorry, her name is Jane Doe 4, but whatever. And she said that he attacked her violently, that he used sex toys to invade both her anus and her vagina, and then at one point bit her in the vagina and she was bleeding, and she kicked him. That is one. It's more detailed than that, but that's the general thing that she said about Leon Black. Another woman described also him being physical, raping and being physical with her. Physical meaning that he caused her pain. So this is the Leon Black who said some of the following, okay? He said that as I said, he paid that $158 million for highly valuable and legitimate tax and estate planning services that saved his family office billions. Okay, but then he says, in his opening statement, Black claimed Epstein deceived him about the tax deductibility of fees, effectively stealing over $60 million from him. He denied abusing any women, engaging in sex trafficking, or paying Epstein for access to women. So first he gave $158 million and didn't know that the fees were not tax deductible. He doesn't have an army of accountants, an army of attorneys, tax attorneys. Like, are you kidding me? Does anybody find this believable? Because I certainly don't. He then got mad because he wouldn't answer a lot of questions in this hearing. And they asked him about the NDAs he has with more than one woman. He wouldn't answer those questions. And so as a result, he actually walked out in the middle of the quote interview. So now they have subpoenaed him, and they not only are subpoenaing him, and he will has to testify before them, and it's going to be recorded and transcribed, and also they're subpoenaing his NDAs. So this is interesting because in my mind, what I think and believe, in my opinion, is that man is guilty as fuck. So you just don't show up in the Epstein files with something like that. What, a girl just made that up? I mean, come on, right? So this guy, I don't know, he knows, I'm sure he knows everybody. One of the reasons he said that he thought Epstein was legitimate was because of Epstein's ties to certain celebrities. Again, this, and I don't mean celebrities like Hollywood celebrities, but, people like, let me give you some of the names he used. Deepak Chopra, ambassador to Turkey, Thomas Barack, billionaire Thomas Pritzker, LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Peter Thiel, who comes up again, Elon Musk. All of these people were around Epstein. And so he somehow thought just by their blessing, this guy was legitimate. I don't buy that for a second. You don't become a billionaire by being stupid. Okay. So anyway, that's where we are with Leon Black, who actually pissed off the Republicans as well as the Democrats, which is a nice feat, right? To not only piss off the Democrats, but piss off the Republicans, who usually use any opportunity they have to excuse the behavior of the people in Epstein's world. So now, I think the bigger news is Katie Phang's lawsuit. And I'm still not understanding why this isn't bigger than what is being said. Now, Katie Phang in April filed a lawsuit against the DOJ. And so let me tell you exactly how that went down. No, this is Leon Black. Sorry. And I'm trying not to make this a long one. Here it is. So she filed a 15-page federal lawsuit against the Trump administration, alleging the DOJ is violating the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And she has standing in the case, which means that she has the right to sue about this because she is a reporter. She makes her living from the news and from investigating things. And so the judge acknowledged her standing, and the first thing, and accepted the lawsuit. And then the DOJ was supposed to respond. And I'm sorry. So I just was looking for some of my notes. Anyway, so what I'm going to tell you is that the DOJ said basically she should use FOIA, which is the Freedom of Information Act. And she said she already been denied that that's not the proper way to access this information. And the judge agreed with her and said that the DOJ had to respond. And by June 26th, they did not respond. So the judge found in favor of Katie Phang and said that by the 2nd of July, which is Thursday, the DOJ had to fulfill its obligation to turn over the files that she had requested and unredact the files that were supposed to be unredacted, right? Because we know that the lawsuit, the Transparency Act, required them to redact only victims' names, nobody else. And that is not what they did. So they have absolutely violated the law. And they basically have said, they're going to fight this, they're going to do whatever. But as of today, they have today and tomorrow, I think, and maybe the morning of the 2nd to respond to this, where they have to show reason why the DOJ shouldn't give the files up. If they don't do anything, they would have to file an appeal with the circuit court. Because the judge has already denied their appeal, he said, no, you've got to, this has to happen by this date. He would have to go to the circuit court and ask for a stay of that ruling while they look at the appeal process. Now, that hasn't happened. So as of now, something is, they're supposed to release things on July 2nd. I wouldn't be surprised if tonight or tomorrow they file with the circuit court and we see that go forward. But this is a big deal. This isn't some, offside lawsuit. This could break open a lot of it if the judge pursues this and the courts allow her to pursue this. So we all should be focusing on what she is doing and this lawsuit, because this is really profoundly important. And so that's my Epstein update for today. I will be in touch with if I see more. I get more information. Everybody should know this information. And we'll talk soon. Thanks.